from making him the official GOAT in UFC 285 to putting him back at the top of the pound-for-pound list. Things have been pretty good for Jon Jones recently, but apparently many UFC legends disagree. You see, Gane vs. Jones was the prime example of why Johnny deserves to be where he's at. Like, come on, 3 years away from the ring, a new weight category, plus a title bout, and you make it look like you're just there for the fun. I don't think anyone else could do it as Jon did. Even DC, who isn't on board with the rankings, said that right after the fight, the GOAT is the GOAT for a reason. Jumping from rank 10 to rank 1 is no joke, and as everyone keeps saying, doing it against a dope fighter like the Frenchman was like sugar on top. Plus, he did it without breaking a sweat, and even though there was a nasty nut shot that nearly put a stop to the contest, 2 minutes later Bones had gone under control.
He's not under the chin.
And Gane's head is not really in there.
Certainly applying pressure, though, and keeping his head bent down makes it difficult to breathe. He's making him carry his weight.
Yes.
The king of comebacks. Anyway, I'd love to tell you about the fight, but there wasn't enough fight, sadly. A few kicks, a guillotine choke, and boom, Jones won the heavyweight title. Jon Jones has been promoted to the top of the rankings at the fight organization run by Dana White as a result of his spectacular comeback. But like I said, Cormier is not happy. Still, let's hear what he actually had to say. I think it's the case of the good old DC being salty. But hey, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. What if he actually makes sense? Anyway, after the victory, when asked about Jones's status as the best fighter of all time on the DC and RC show, Cormier replied by saying that he thinks it was pretty hard to debate the greatest of all time, especially when Jones has gone up to heavyweight and won the belt because of what he did at lightweight. On top of that, Cormier stated that he doesn't feel Johnny should be the top ranked. He believes Alexander Volkanovski ought to remain there. Because hey, I think he makes a little sense, no? Look at it this way. Alex didn't downgrade even after losing to Makhachev. Why would he drop a rank after another fight wins his fight? And that's what DC thinks, and so do many fans. They disagree that Jones should be ranked as the top pound-for-pound fighter in the world. Jones was the top ranked when he last fought in 2020, and the only reason he had dropped to number 10 was because of the 3-year gap. He held the top position even 7 months after being MIA before Khabib took his spot. Other than that, Michael Bisping believes that no one can deny Jon Jones being number 1. The UFC Hall of Famer thinks Jon Jones should be the best fighter overall and the best pound-for-pound fighter. The guy has never suffered a defeat aside from a match he was clearly winning in December 2009.
John's got the clinch, and he's got him down immediately.
But we don't count that. Plus, Jones successfully defended his 205-pound title 11 times in total. And even though Alexander Volkanovski lost to lightweight champion Islam Makhachev at UFC 284, he was still holding the top slot in the pound-for-pound rankings. And even though the Gane vs. Johnny fight had gone down, Bisping disagreed with the rankings. On his YouTube channel, Bisping claimed that the championship belonged to none other than the GOAT. He said that if a guy can stay in the top 10 even after not fighting for so many years, he shouldn't be any less than number 1 after his comeback. Bisping added that one can't just denounce Jon Jones when you consider what he has accomplished. Just looking at the names of the people he has taken down is enough to tell you how great he really is. And not just that, the manner in which he frequently defeated them at their own game, the fighting style. Bisping believes that Jones is not only the best of all time, but also the best pound for pound. He added on his live session that the number 1 pound for pound has got to be Johnny Bones Jones, as he is the very best in the history of the sport. And yeah, he did say that all the Khabib fans were gonna send him hate, and those won't be the only ones. He also mentioned supporters of Anderson Silva and George St. Pierre. Michael said that Anderson Silva is without a doubt among the best, but Jon Jones's record just puts him in a category of his own. But it's so funny how everyone cares about pound for pound except the GOAT himself.
It's been 3 years since we've seen you. To come back and to have such a dominant victory.
First and foremost, you know what's coming.
Not too long ago, Jones went public, saying that he cared more about being the greatest of all time and that the rankings didn't really mean much to him. The fact that Jones hasn't competed in more than 3 years has undoubtedly led to some worry if he could return after such a long absence and immediately reclaim the crown. Little did people know, even Jones is prepared to admit that another player now leads the league in terms of strength to weight ratio, despite the fact that Alexander Volkanovski recently lost a battle for the lightweight championship against champion Islam Makhachev. Jones believes that the Australian is the best pound for pound overall. During the UFC 285 media day in Las Vegas recently, Jones stated that he did believe that both Alex and Islam were deserving of the rank. He said that Volko did a good job of representing the sport. Anyway, Jones was previously removed from many other analysts' pound for pound rankings due to inactivity, but his return did shake everything. Many believe that he would solidify his status as the greatest fighter in history if that occurs, and Jones stated that this is something with which he is more worried than where he stands in relation to Volkanovski at the moment in the pound for pound rankings. Jones declared that he was not striving to be the best pound for pound. His aim was to claim the GOAT title, and now that he has won the fight, he said that it was still one step away. This guy doesn't want to rest, does he? Anyway, he did say that he believes there was a place for both him and Alexander at the top, even though they have different motives. Why is no one talking about what the Australian feels about being dethroned? The Australian said that everyone keeps talking about it, and it indeed was a big deal for him. Plus 1 point for honesty. Isn't he a great guy? He added that becoming champion was a good feeling.
I mean, John took no punishment except a kick to the nuts, got him down immediately, and just absolutely dominated him. And now he's the heavyweight champion of the world.
But maintaining that pound for pound top rank even after a defeat was an even better feeling. And he thinks somewhat similar to DC, and he didn't understand how one fight did Jones so well. But as I said, Alex is a really humble lad. He talked about Jones winning in 2 different weight categories, and how it was bigger than what he did even after a 3-year absence. But can anyone really contest that? Alex said that Jones was going to rank among the all-time greats. The guy does things differently. All one can do is wait for Johnny to take a fall. We all know how that goes. Anyway, later this year, Volkanovski will have the chance to unify the featherweight championships when he faces off against interim champion Yair Rodriguez. Meanwhile, Jones is anticipated to face former champion Stipe Miocic in July for his first heavyweight championship defense. Who knows what this sport holds? Maybe Stipe is the one to dethrone Jones, or maybe it only solidifies Jones's place at the top. Having said that, that was all for Jon Jones claiming the top P4P rank, and UFC legends disagree.
About a minute in, Jones is able to get Gane to the canvas. We'll see how Gane is able to respond here.
Yeah, that is absolutely huge.
Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.